Hello and welcome to the Center for Research Libraries presentation on accessing Linda Hall library collections. In this presentation, you'll learn about the essential components of the partnership between the Center for Research Libraries and the Linda Hall Library of Science, Engineering, and Technology. Here's an agenda for what this full presentation will encompass. Kevin Wilks from the Center for Research Libraries will describe how to access the materials from the Linda Hall Library collections, both the serials and the monographs. In addition, you'll hear from one member's implementation of the Linda Hall Library partnership through interlibrary loan. Keri Cascio of the Linda Hall Library will present a detailed overview of the Linda Hall collection eligible for borrowing by CRL members. And Amy Wood at the Center for Research Libraries will describe the Print Archives Preservation Registry and the Linda Hall Print Serials collection. Finally, Bosch of the University of Arizona will discuss the collection development and collection building plans between CRL and the Linda Hall Library. My name is James Simon, and I'm the Director of International Resources at the Center for Research Libraries, and I'll be providing an overview and background to the partnership with CRL and Linda Hall. Although the partnership was only announced in 2012, the implementation, the planning for it began as early as 2007, where the board and the membership ratified the CRL 2010 development plan, through which CRL proposed to concentrate its resources on increasing member access to print and electronic resources that support international studies in the humanities and social sciences. In addition, we proposed to provide for archiving and persistence of critical print and electronic resources to enable CRL libraries to fully exploit digital discovery, access, storage, and delivery. To accomplish this, we significantly ramped up our own digitization and digital delivery technologies, and we expanded the affinity groups that CRL supports to new focus areas, such as news, human rights, and government information. With significant support from the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation towards these goals in 2009 and 2012, CRL developed and presented the Global Resources Network 2014 objectives to the membership. Under this program, CRL continues to fundamentally remake its activities and services to align with the new realities of humanities and social science research in the digital age. The program goals of GRN 2014 are to expand electronic access to internationally primary source collections for CRL libraries through cooperative digitization of legacy collections, support for licensing of major databases in key areas, and establishing global resources centers for physical collections. We propose to concentrate our resources in 4 key areas, the first being news and related information, the second being law and government, the third, history and economics of agriculture, and the fourth, the subject of today's presentation, science, technology, and engineering. The key to these partnerships are the global resources partnerships with institutions and organizations that share common goals and values of the Center for Research Libraries. Organizations such as the Law Library Microform Consortium, JISC in the United Kingdom and CRKN in Canada, and the Linda Hall Library. The features of these partnerships include the systematic identification of critical collections of materials, to negotiate licenses and partnerships in order to obtain access to materials available electronically, and to establish community consensus on the preservation and archiving, as well as digitization. Both digitization and collection growth are inseparably connected to archiving in these partnerships. In July 1, 2012, the Center for Research Libraries and the Linda Hall Library of Science, Engineering, and Technology formed its strategic partnership to preserve and develop historical research collections in the fields of science, technology, and engineering. The partnership builds on the rich holdings of print serials in those fields, assembled by the 2 institutions during the past 6 decades. Together, these holdings constitute a premier library of global science. The CRL Linda Hall partnership will preserve, provide access to, and further develop the combined collections of the institutions of printed source materials in these fields. CRL and Linda Hall are combining resources to promote the visibility of these collections worldwide and to make them available electronically through traditional interlibrary loan and document delivery to researchers, as well as through digitization. Here are the major goals of the partnership: to share, combine, and develop STE collections, promote broad access and support, and to maintain print collections. As I said, there's a strong print archiving component to this partnership. The principal activities of the partnership are to support the document delivery of serials and serial articles to CRL member libraries, to engage in strategic digitization of monographs from the Linda Hall collection, as well as to embark on extensive collection assessment and development of the shared collection to further the growth of these collections. And the fourth principal activity is print archiving. These activities will be described in more detail by the various presenters you are about to hear. I will turn this over to Kevin Wilks, the head of Access Services at the Center for Research Libraries, to describe the Linda Hall partnership and the interlibrary loan services at CRL.
Hi, I'm Kevin Wilks of the Access Services Department, and since 2006, the Center for Research Libraries' goal has been to provide research and teaching material in a digital format, making the access of the material more efficient and expedient. That is why we continue to digitize over 700,000 pages each year. We have also partnered with other vendors such as ProQuest, Relex, Ethos, and LLMC, providing our members access to journals, newspapers, and dissertations electronically. In July 2012, we partnered with Linda Hall Library. This partnership gives all of our member institutions free access to Linda Hall's 50,000 science, engineering, and technology print serials. Access is available electronically through on-demand digitization and electronic document delivery. We have contracted with Rapid, allowing all CRL member affiliates to request for free articles from the Linda Hall Library collection using RapidILL. Now, RapidILL is known for their outstanding service in 24 hours or less turnaround time. The process is seamless. RapidILL has created a special pod for all Center for Research Libraries member institutions. When a patron from a CRL member institution submits a request through their ILL management systems such as Clio, Iliad, Relay, or WCRS, RapidILL will see that they are from a CRL member institution, giving them free access to Linda Hall Library's collection. The request is directed straight to Linda Hall. Linda Hall Library will receive the request and process it immediately. The requested article will then be sent to the requesting institution for their patron, courtesy of CRL. For CRL member institutions who do not have an ILL management system, RapidILL will provide a special requesting venue to make requesting possible. For any Center for Research Libraries member institution that is not a RapidILL member, you should have received training as to how to request through Rapid. If you have not received that training, please contact me or Jane Smith at Rapid so you can get started. Remember, requesting through RapidILL for Linda Hall material is absolutely free to all CRL institutions. CRL member institutions who are already members of Rapid, there is nothing special needed. Requesting is no different, so you're ready to go. We have received questions concerning the scanning and delivery of book chapters through RapidILL for this project. We do understand the importance of book chapter delivery. However, we are currently focusing on just the delivery of articles through RapidILL. As of March 1st, 2013, the partnership was expanded to include on-demand digitization. Now, for on-demand digitization, the requesting process is a bit different. Linda Hall Library will digitize single volumes of their open monograph collection to fulfill requests from scholars at CRL libraries. At this time, only monographs from pre-1950 will be eligible for scanning. Due to royalty costs that will add to digitization requests for standards, we decided standards would not be included among those materials eligible for digitizing. It has been found that many government documents have already been scanned by other vendors and are accessible at no cost. This is an image of one of the publications recently requested for scanning. A list of all Center for Research Libraries member institutions has been submitted to OCLC. OCLC has edited all of CRL member institutions' policy directories group affiliation section to show that you are a member of the center. Request for digitization from Linda Hall Library's collection is done through WorldCat or beginning soon WorldShare. Once the desired material has been found, a request should be submitted to Linda Hall through OCLC. Please make certain to submit the request as an article so that Linda Hall will know you are requesting the scanning of a book. If the request is submitted as a loan, there is a possibility your institution will be charged Linda Hall's loaning fee. Once the request has been submitted, Linda Hall Library will receive the request and note that you are a Center for Research Libraries affiliate. Once it has been determined that Linda Hall Library is able to digitize the material, the request will be immediately updated to shipped article. This will allow the requesting library to maintain their excellent turnaround time and not to let the request die out of OCLC while scanning is in progress. Once the scanning has been completed, the scans are sent to CRL for final processing. The URL is then emailed to the institution for the patron, and the scans are added to the Center for Research Libraries catalog to provide future access by CRL member institutions by searching our catalog, OCLC, Summon, or Primo. The normal turnaround time is 5 business days. Please remember, if you are requesting an article from Linda Hall, requesting is to be done through RapidILL. If you are requesting the scanning of a book from Linda Hall, requesting is done through WorldCat resource sharing. As of date, we have filled almost 7,000 article requests, and we have had scanned for book requests of nearly 1,000 pages. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me or my staff. I am now going to turn this over to Heather Weltin from the University of Wisconsin, who will speak more on accessing Linda Hall material. Heather?
Thanks, Kevin. As a heavy borrower from Linda Hall and CRL, and a heavy user of RapidILL, we were very excited to learn about the new CRL Linda Hall partnership. So much so, we were an early tester of the system. In case you aren't familiar with the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we are consistently ranked at the top among peer institutions with respect to supplementing local collections in order to meet the teaching and research needs of the UW-Madison community. We also have one of the nation's top colleges of engineering, so our campus has always been a frequent requester of Linda Hall materials, especially as collection budgets dwindle, and we need to rely on resource sharing to support the scholarly endeavors of our patrons. One major appeal of the CRL Linda Hall partnership was that it already fits into our current workflows, so it was seamless to start using the service. In addition, as CRL members, to be able to have Linda Hall article delivery included as part of our CRL membership costs was of instant appeal to us. Next slide, please. For those of you who aren't familiar with the ILL specifics, I thought I would give a quick overview of what happens on the borrowing side through this service for articles, which is on the screen now. To build on what Kevin mentioned earlier, requests start when our patrons submit the request into our ILL system. At the UW-Madison, we use the ILL system Iliad. When patrons place an article request, and it has the ISSN or the OCLC number, the request is grabbed by the RapidILL system. Rapid then sends the request within a matter of moments to a holding library. In this case, the request is sent to Linda Hall, who can see through our RapidILL request that we are a CRL member. Within hours, Linda Hall would scan the article for us. Once delivered back to us electronically, it is mounted on a server for our patrons with no additional staff intervention needed. Because Rapid Libraries agree to participate in a fast turnaround time, articles are almost always guaranteed within 24 hours, but often arrive within half a day. Since the beginning of the program, we've received over 150 Rapid article requests as a CRL member from Linda Hall, with an average turnaround time of only 13 hours. This is actually an hour quicker than our overall Rapid turnaround time. Although we aren't filling thousands of article requests through this Linda Hall CRL partnership service yet, you can see it is still helping our patrons, even when saving an hour per request. As we in the resource sharing world know, even an hour of request can mean the world to some of our patrons. Next slide, please. Speaking of turnaround times, our patrons are frequently impressed with the level of speed in which article requests are filled through our campus ILL service, and the new Linda Hall CRL partnership is now making our turnaround time even better. We've heard a wide variety of comments from our patrons regarding the speed in filling these requests. Some of these are on the screen now, and you can see they range from, just wanted to thank the ILL staff for completing my request so quickly, to, I'm giddy with joy that you were able to get this. To date, we have yet to request any title to be digitized through this service, but we hope to start discussions across campus to figure out ways to promote the service to more specific faculty and staff. It is also important to mention that once the project and UW-Madison activates RapidILL book chapter requesting, our requests will almost double to Linda Hall. Currently, the majority of requests we send to them are from books they own, and we aren't able to send to them via Rapid yet. Both of these changes will have an immediate impact on the level of requests we are sending through this service, making the CRL Linda Hall partnership even more of a valuable resource sharing option. Even so, as it is now with just the journal article delivery, this new global partnership has certainly helped the UW-Madison to support the instructional, research, and scholarly activities of our faculty, staff, and students. Even more importantly to us, not only are our patrons appreciating the service, but staff thinks it's pretty awesome too. Thanks.
Next up, we have Keri Cascio, the Director of Innovative Technologies and Library Resource Management from the Linda Hall Library, to talk about the amazing collections at the library. And here's Keri.
Hello. So the Linda Hall Library, we were established by the estate of Herbert and Linda Hall in 1946 in their will. And basically they decided to create a library that was open to the public, but they did not specify what sort of library it would be. They gave over their home, which has since been replaced by library buildings, and also 14 acres of an arboretum. So we do sit on an arboretum in the middle of the University of Missouri, Kansas City campus. We are not affiliated with them, but we have certainly grown up around each other over the years. Next slide. So when they went to look for a collection, they weren't sure what they wanted to do, and they found the American Academy of Arts and Sciences collection, purchased in 1946, probably made it to the library in 1947. And this was really the basis of our rare book and reference collection, and supports the research and history of science and technology. Then over the years, we have taken in other collections which have strengthened what we have here for science, technology, and engineering. We got the Franklin Institute collection in 1985, and then in 1995, we got the Engineering Society's library, or the ESL collection. And these have built both our journals, our books, and our rare book collections. You can see our rare book room there on the bottom right. That is looking into our vaults with our rare book collection, and the other picture is some of our open stacks. So we do also have hundreds of early books in engineering, mathematics, physics, geology, and other related resources. Mining and metallurgy are also some of the books that we have collected from these other collections over the years. Next slide. So our materials of note. This is a picture of our closed stacks. Most of our stacks are closed to the public, and you do have to page them to view them in our reading room. We have industry standards and specifications. We have the Engineering Society's meetings papers. Those came from when we purchased their collection in 1995. Conference proceedings, and technical reports. Now, I did want to say, I believe Kevin might have mentioned this before, that many of these are not part of our agreement with CRL due to the royalty agreements that we have with the publishers. That is a bit more expensive than just doing a regular document delivery request, and for right now they are excluded from the partnership. Next slide. Here's a picture of our document delivery department. You might be able to see way in the back there are some colored shelves. We do have document delivery through OCLC, through RapidILL, and also on demand. We do deliver materials to institutions all over the world, every continent except Antarctica. In addition to the academic libraries that we work with, we also deliver to corporations, government agencies, law firms, and engineering firms. One of the more interesting requests we got recently was from the Executive Office of the President of the United States, so that was kind of cool. We don't actually lend out our physical bound serials volumes. That was one of the questions that came up in the registration. But we do lend monographs, so that is something that we do in our regular ILL and document delivery services. We have librarians who will do research assistance for the public. We are open to the public, and that means all over the country, all over the world. We also digitize many of our collections, mostly rare books, but some of them are a little bit more modern. When I say modern, I kind of have to put quote marks around that because the most recent thing we did a large project on was a collection of 19th century railroad journals. And we have that all online. We got a grant for that, and those are available on our Content DM pages. We also have digitized materials based on the exhibitions that we have here in the library, so you can find those online as well. In addition to that, we do image rights and reproductions for publications, and we also have a competitive fellowship program that I wanted to mention if some of you had scholars and researchers maybe joining you today on the webinar, and I wanted to mention that we do have the fellowship program. It is closed for this year. We usually take applications late in the fall into kind of the new year, and then we announce them in the spring. So we should be announcing the 2013-2014 soon. Next slide. We currently have 45,000 plus print serials titles. I think Kevin gave you a number before, which is 50,000. That was the combined collection of Linda Hall and CRL. We currently receive over 3,700 print serials. Every day you should see what our mailroom looks like on a Monday morning or after a holiday. It's quite interesting. Someone also had asked about a title list. We don't have a title list per se. The last one we did actually publish some starting in the late 60s. The last one we did was in 1989. I did a search on WorldCap. There are many of you who actually have copies of this. Probably about 200 libraries have it in some format. But with the paper database work that we're doing, once everything is loaded into there, you will be able to extract title lists and be able to compare your holdings. And Amy is going to talk a little bit more about that in her presentation. We have quite a lot of shelving here. We basically have over 220,000 square feet of library space, and over 30 miles of shelving. Our most recent addition was completed in 2006, and we did that to add a 3-story annex to our building, and we put in compact shelving for our serials runs, and that's also where our document delivery unit is housed, and we saw that in an earlier slide. So our serials are in closed stacks, mostly compact shelving. We also have closed stack monographs, and we do have some open stack monographs that patrons can browse. Those are probably about the 1980s to the present. Next slide. Our collection strengths are really in engineering, physics, and chemistry. We are historically strong also in astronomy and mathematics, but we have selected fewer in those areas over recent years. We also collect extensively in geology and biology, and we also do soil science, biochemistry, and physiology. We don't collect any clinical medical materials because of the strong collection nearby at University of Kansas, just across the state border here. We have a lot of different languages, and you'll see some of this reflected in Steve Bosch's presentation. We have a lot of Russian and Eastern European journals. We also have Chinese and Asian, including Japanese, Korean, and all the Western European languages. We still have an active exchange program with the former Eastern Bloc countries, so we're still receiving journals from them and sending them American journals in return. So those programs are still going on between us and some of the former Eastern Bloc countries. Next slide. I did want to make a note about our holdings. Everything that you'll see in the RapidILL system and in the Linda Hall Library catalog does reflect our most up-to-date serials issue-level holdings. And we are also working on getting that into the paper database. Our monograph holdings within OCLC are accurate, but I did want to mention that some of our serials holdings are a little bit out of date. They were probably put in there in the Serials Union List program, and we haven't really updated those since OCLC went to the new LHR system a couple of years ago. So we're going to work this year to get a batch load in there and get some of those updated, but I just wanted you to know that what you see in RapidILL for journals is really our current holdings, and they are accurate. Next slide. I wanted to give you a little snapshot of what the Article Request Program has done for us. The most recent data I had was for January 2013. You could see we replied 970 requests to CRL member libraries. The publication dates were really wide-ranging. They went back to 1857 and to the present. I tried to give you some journal title names so you can see the variables of languages. We did have Chinese, we had Russian, and then English. And the article topics were really kind of broad. We had things from shaping steel to infection cycles to snow tires. So a really broad range of topics were requested over the month of January. And this has really been a great service for CRL member libraries, and we've had a lot of fun filling these. Next slide. So I want to leave you with a couple of links to our online catalog. You can view that at any time. And also to our digital collections at lhldigital.lindahall.org. We do have a lot of rare book and some other things such as those railroad journal serials I mentioned before. If you have any questions about our collection or document delivery services, you can always contact me or Ben Gibson. He is the head of our document services unit. Some of you may have worked with him over the years. For specific questions about the program for CRL member libraries and the Linda Hall collection, I'm going to probably refer you to Kevin Wilks. He can answer a lot of those issues. And for questions about using the Rapid system, I'm going to refer you to Jane Smith. She's been working very closely with all of us on making this work, and it really has been a great partnership between these three organizations. So thank you for your time, and we really look forward to working with all of the CRL members in the future on this project. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Wood, Director of Technical Services at the Center for Research Libraries, and I'm going to talk about an important initiative that's part of the partnership between the Center for Research Libraries and the Linda Hall Library. And that initiative is to include the Linda Hall print serial records in the paper database. The paper database is the Print Archives Preservation Registry that CRL has been developing with the California Digital Libraries. It's been live since last August, and we are in the process of including and loading the Linda Hall records in the database. The database, or the registry, is a tool, is meant to be a collection development tool. It has a directory of print archive programs, the registry of titles, and various collection analysis tools. To hear more about the background, the development of paper, you can go to the URL that's there on the screen. And otherwise, I'll take you through a series of screenshots to get you familiar with the registry. This is the program directory page. There are a variety of programs here. Not all of the programs have records in the database at this point, or the registry at this point, but Linda Hall will certainly be one of the biggest contributors by the time their records are loaded. This is just the information, or the program page for the Linda Hall Library, and there's also an information page about the facility. And we just tried to include as much information that we feel is important so that you know how the material is being held, under what conditions the material is being held. And from this page, you can also download a list of the titles that are being archived at Linda Hall, the print serials that are being archived at Linda Hall, and also download information about the program itself. This is just a sort of a list of titles that you would get from a basic search of the archived titles part of the database. And on the right is a column that indicates how many programs may hold a particular title, and from there you can click on the link, and it will show you the summary holdings of those various programs. And this is what a detail page would show you. And the important thing to note here is not just the summary holdings that Linda Hall has, but also the missing volume. For more information about paper, please email me or visit the website and just do some searches on your own. It's free and available to everyone now. Thanks very much. Bye.
Next up, we have Stephen Bosch, who is the Global Resources Senior Collections Advisor for CRL, and also the Materials, Budget, Procurement, and Licensing Librarian for the University of Arizona Library. He is going to talk about accessing materials from Linda Hall Library and future plans and events. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Next slide. I think it's important to note that this partnership really is a dynamic approach and not necessarily just a static approach to archiving print. The intent of the partnership is to build upon the current strengths of both CRL and LHL to create a preeminent STE print collection. It is not just to archive these holdings, but it's really designed to build upon these holdings and continue to develop these collections into the future. And the overall goal is to support and enhance advanced research, scholarship, and education in the sciences for all CRL members. Next slide. The benefits of the members are going to be the development of the print archive. It will enable people to have a fairly good idea of what is being archived, and then they can make local collection decisions based upon what CRL and Linda Hall Library will archive. At the same time, there will be a collection development plan that enables them to look at what their local collecting priorities are, and then align these with what the collecting priorities of the partnership are. And in addition to that, there is going to be a layer of digital services that will be available. On the article side, the digital delivery of articles out of these collections will enable users to get their hands on hard-to-get materials in a fairly reasonable amount of time. And at the same time, there will be a digitization program in place that rare items will be digitized and made available to people. Next. To further these aims, there is a fairly rigorous collections analysis going on right now, comparing the CRL and Linda Hall Library holdings to large collections from the top STE programs in the country, as well as the top 20 ARL libraries. That comparison is going to really give us quantifiable data that's going to indicate where the real strengths of the CRL Linda Hall partnership are going to be. Not going to go into a whole lot of that information today. If you want more, the detailed presentation of a lot of this research will be at the CRL's Collections Forum on Friday, April 19th in the afternoon. So if you're really interested in seeing what the results of this collections analysis is, tune in for that forum. Next. This is just a little bit of a teaser as far as what some of the results of the collections analysis has been, and what this particular piece of information shows is the strength of the CRL LHL holdings compared to the large STE libraries in the country, as well as the top ARL libraries. And obviously from this data, there are certain language areas where the collections from the CRL LHL partnership are obviously extremely strong and extremely deep. Next. From the outcomes of this analysis, we are seeing that there are several truly outstanding areas that are emerging from the combined holdings of the two libraries. Some of these areas are such as the Eastern European language areas, some of the language areas such as Chinese, Japanese, those sorts of things. It doesn't show up so much in the data, but there are very strong collections from published professional societies, as well as certain subject areas in the areas like engineering that are truly outstanding. The collection development plans as we go forward into the future will outline these areas for development, and they will be building upon the current strengths of the holdings of the combined partnership. If you combine the richness of these collections with the free interlibrary loan and digitization support, this partnership between CRL and Linda Hall Library is going to be a real boon for CRL members.
Thank you again, everyone, for attending our webinar today on CRL's partnership with the Linda Hall Library. We'd really like to thank our outside presenters, Heather Weltin from the University of Wisconsin, Keri Cascio from Linda Hall, Stephen Bosch from the University of Arizona, and our staff here at CRL, James Simon, Kevin Wilks, and Amy Wood. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to follow up with any of the email addresses on the screen right now. We'd also like to let you know about some upcoming events. We have a Global Resources Roundtable that's going to be going on at the same time as the ALA annual meeting this summer at the Newberry Library, called Beyond the Fold, Scholarly Access to News in the Digital Age. If you want to find out more about CRL and our collections and services, we have a general webinar on Wednesday, June 12th coming up. That's like a great overview of our collections, ILL services, what we have to offer. If you're new to CRL or if you have staff that's new to CRL, please sign up for it. You can find it on our events page, www.crl.edu. Our big event of the year is coming up on Friday, April 18th. That's our annual meeting, where we will again be talking about this partnership with Linda Hall Library. In the afternoon, Collections Forum. The morning is a business meeting for our voting member representatives. Again, you can check out more information about this event on our website. For more information, our website has vast quantities of information. We also have many other archived CRL presentations on our YouTube channel. Please sign up for CRL Connect. The link is right there at www.crl.edu/connect to get our online email newsletter so you can find out more about these kind of events. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. And follow-up surveys available on SurveyMonkey that really helps us out to find out your feedback to these programs. Thank you again for joining us today.